just tell us first of all about where you're from.
Yeah.
And tell us about your mum and dad.
Yeah.
Like, and your mum's maiden name and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Michael Sandford. I was born up in Mitchell Street, Dungarvan, yeah. My brother died young when I went to school. He was 10 years of age, I was 9 years of age. Came home with a pain in his stomach. So was put out to the hospital in Dungarvan. An appendix he had, and he was dead the next day.
Oh, God.
Oh, did it, yeah. And my
Do you
father...
do you remember that?
I do, yeah. I did. I was 9. And I wouldn't want to let him get buried. I was pulling the coffin back. Below the thing, all the school children and all were there. Buried below the front graveyard there. My father died shortly after that. He got cancer. Died out in the hospital in Dungarvan as well. And 6 weeks after that, my mother was up. We were after getting up of a Sunday morning, and she used to go down to the Harperstown Mass. And she said, I think I won't go to Mass at all this morning. I'm feeling very dizzy. And just after she saying that, she fell and I caught her. Like she was a fairly heavy one. I put her into the chair. I sent my sister across for a friend of ours across the road. And she came back over. She was dead. My mother was dead. We lost all our family in all length of time. Lucky enough, I had 2 good aunts and an uncle that took in for. I was the oldest then, at 14. Left school doing messages we'd be at that time because we had no money. My mother died, she had only 3 or 4 shillings in her purse. That's all the money we had, like, you know. Lucky enough that we had cousins that buried him and that, because we were after doing turns for them before that, like.
And yourself, your sister, how many else?
And 2 brothers.
And 2 brothers.
Yeah, there was 4. I was the oldest of 4.
There was 4 of you left.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, did you all go to different aunts and uncles? Or
No, we were all with the one. A small little house down there in O'Connor Street is after falling down. You see any small house up O'Connor Street there at the right hand side. My aunt, 2 aunts lived there, and my uncle. My uncle was a sailor. He was in the English Navy for 20 years. He came out of it with pains, like. He lived there. He used to sell ice cream. He used to make ice cream then by hand there. And he had a parrot. Any old people in the garden, I remember Andy Sandford's parrot.
This is your uncle's parrot?
Yeah, that's right.
What's the parrot's name?
Polly, they used to call him, yeah. He was in a round cage on top of a table. And when my uncle would be coming up, he'd know his step coming. Yeah. And he'd shout to dance, Andy's coming. Andy. So they had him trained to everything. But he was a sea all his life, but he had a monkey as well. And he was going bringing home the monkey. But they were doing surveying somewhere around the coast, about doing maps and all. And the monkey got out of the box and destroyed a whole load of the paperwork that had been done. Only for they were second copies of it that he'd be in jail. And one of the officers caught the monkey and threw him out overboard and wasn't so far out. You remember there were kind of bulwarks down the chapel. There were one of them down there on the strand. I think there were all holes and all that. And didn't he swim in? He got into one of the holes and they see him. But they were anchored there that night and they took out the punt and they went in and they brought in his little box that he used to have in and left it outside the hole. Whoever picked him up, he surely said, come out and go into the box. But only for that, Connor Street, we'd have had a parrot and a monkey. Yeah.
And come here, tell me, did you, I mean, obviously when your mum died, things changed, obviously.
That's right, yeah.
And did you have to get a job then at that stage?
I was working before that, doing messages for 10 shillings a week.
Okay. And who were you messenger by for?
For Pat Ryan's down Main Street. Yeah, at that time.
What did he do? What was his business?
He had a kind of grocery and a pub. And I used to bottle a keg of beer every week. He'd bottle his own stuff, like. Remember the big timber barrel of it?
Yes.
One of them, he'd have that, like. A lot of country people used to come into him, yeah. So down there now, it's the Gow's place now, down Main Street, below Casey's there. Yeah, it's a kind of a restaurant there now, you know.
Okay. And then what were you mostly delivering at that stage, with the bicycle?
We had nothing to live on, actually.
No, what did you deliver? You when you're cycling around?
Oh, I hadn't a bicycle or anything. I just delivered a few messages in a basket
Okay.
around to people in the town, over to Abbeyside and that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would they give you a few bob or anything? Would they?
No, wouldn't they? But no one had anything then, hardly, you know.
Okay.
No little or nothing there, you know.
And then, how much were you getting paid as a messenger?
That's for the message, 10 shillings a week.
Okay.
That's what we were getting then. A lot of the fellas then along the shops, that'd be about what they'd be getting for the week, you know.
And that was going straight to your aunt?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
But when I died, when my mother died, then I wasn't there at all. I went to go to be a baker, like, you know. Because my father was a baker, and I went to serve my time as a baker, like. Yeah, for a few pounds, like 15 shillings a week, and then after a year you got maybe 30 shillings, and that. The baker's wages then was only £6 for the week, like for the 6 days.
And they had to get up very early in the morning for that?
Oh, you would, yeah. 5 o'clock. You'd be down at 5 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
And was it, how many, would it be 7 days?
I was down at Maloney's bakehouse then. There were 14 bakers then at Maloney's. Now they're not one baker in Dungarvan, like. No, not one baker even, yeah.
And would you have to work 7 days a week?
6 days.
6 days,
yeah.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
And would you get off then Sunday, is it?
We'd be off Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
There'd be a couple have to go in maybe for an hour to keep the whole ovens lighting and
Yeah.
different things that way, you know. It was different method of working then, like, you know.
And did you work then as a baker all your life?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
All life, yeah.
And come here, tell me, do you remember the other way in Dungarvan people used to go to the swimming pool?
That's right, yeah.
Would you swim there?
Oh, I used to be down there the whole time. I said that's what I got the skin cancer out of. Lying out in the concrete, couldn't get enough of sun, like, you know.
Right.
We didn't know the difference. We'd lie down in the concrete, and there's concrete walls all around us holding great shelter and that in there, yeah.
And you liked to swim, did you?
Oh God, it was lovely down there then, yeah.
Okay.
That was all we had then, like, you know. Yeah.
And then, I mean, because your mum and dad had died, was there a lot of pressure on you as regards?
Oh God, they were, like, you know.
Trying to.
I was the oldest, kind of, you know. Then,
Yeah, did you have to kind of be more responsible?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Then I ended up minding the aunts and uncle and all, like, you know. Because they were old then, like, you know. They all lived into their 80s, like, yeah. They were great people to take us, you know.
And then were you, did you get any time to do things like, you say, go to dances or go to cinema?
No, I never had, because we were at the wrong kind of a job for that.
Okay.
Whenever we want to be going into dances, we'd be probably going into work.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't, it would be all hours, like, we had to get odd hours in the night or terribly early morning, you know.
And what about sports? Were you involved in
Oh God,
sport?
I was shooting always and fishing, like rod fishing, yeah.
Alright, so you're outdoor man.
I was, yeah. I had misfortune at that too. I was out on Sunday morning with my cousin, that's Jane's husband, and he died.
Alright.
Yeah, so you talk about,
What happened to him?
well, we were just having a smoke after been out a half an hour after trying a thing, and he was kneeling down in his cap, having a smoke, and we were looking out to the sea, and we were looking at 2 seals, and I said to him, "Do you see them 2 seals abroad? Are they seals?" He said, "You know, they were swimming down by Old Parish there on the coast." And the next thing I felt him hit me, he was having a smoke. He fell up against my knee, he was kneeling down. He was dead. I gone up to the farmer's house and we got help, and we're talking about phones and all that. It took 2 hours to get a phone call in from Old Parish into Dungarvan to get an ambulance or anything that way. The guard came up from the ring, and they couldn't even get in from the ring into Dungarvan with the phones. You know, people be objecting to masks and everything, you know, don't they? Yeah. Phone masks. Look at the way things were then, like.
And did that man have a heart attack then, was it?
Yeah, heart attack, and he died. We left a big family after him, 6 or 7 as well, like, yeah.
And then
his wife is coming here now, like.
You were a fisherman and a hunter.
Yeah, that's how sports, like.
Yeah, what kind of stuff would you be going after? What?
I had a rifle. I bought a rifle, and I knew if I had a rifle I could make a good bit of money. So my uncle gave me the money, and I bought the rifle, and I go shooting in the morning at 5 o'clock all through the winter. I cycle up to Old Parish without a breakfast now. This would be fasting because we only had an old range then. There were no cookers if they were. We had no money to buy one. And if you had to light the range, you'd have to be up for a couple of hours ahead of time. So I'd get a bit of chocolate and I'd eat that going down. And I'd cycle along the roads, back along beyond Willie Welch's, you know, where we were back there, back along and all around there. Sure. And I'd always pick up maybe 5 or 6 rabbits. Maybe some days I might get 8 or 9 of them. You know, it would make me a lady. Between that and the signing and odd days' work, I'd make up a week's wages.
And then who would you sell the rabbits to?
Benny D at that time was buying them. Benny D, and I was working for them after in a bakehouse. They had a bakery in Dungarvan, yeah.
And what did he do with the rabbits?
Oh, there'd be other crowds come and buy them, you know. They used to be shipped to England and all then at that time. And we'd shoot pheasants and all that then of a Sunday with a shotgun, as well and a dog.
And then you would sell the rabbits and the pheasants to him?
That's right. To Benny D, he was the man who had a store in Dungarvan for that. He used to buy hens and eggs and that as well. And they shipped that kind of stuff then.
And would that be for restaurants or would it be for people's houses or?
I don't know what kind of a market. Well, any bad rabbits, the zoo would take them, you know, for feeding for the animals and that kind of thing there. And the good rabbits was worth a good bit of money. There wouldn't be, you'd have them shot with a rifle, they wouldn't hardly be marked at all, you know, you get the top price for them, like, yeah.
And would you ever eat any stuff you shoot? I
would, and not time I'd eat a rabbit, like, I'd like a rabbit, you know.
Yeah.
That's all, yeah.
And would you skin it yourself and all that?
Oh, I would, yeah, sure, no bother.
Yeah.
We're used to that, you know.
Yeah. And then with the fishing, what would you be fishing?
We'd be fishing worms mostly and that in the rivers.
Okay. And what would you be catching?
Trout, brown trout.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they get white trout in and they sea trout in the night out in the Colligan. But I couldn't go out in the night on account of being working.
Yeah.
And an awful lot of people used to get pains from the river. Then. My aunt used to say, keep away from the river, they were all full of pains, you know. From the dampness, because we fishing all night in the bank of the river standing there, you know.
Okay.
And so I never went in for the night fishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was mostly then in the Colligan you used to fish?
The Colligan and the Finnisk.
Okay.
That'd be up by Kappa there, you know, yeah.
And someone mentioned to us too about the salmon jump.
Yeah.
Was that in the Colligan?
That's up in Colligan, yeah.
Or would you ever go up there?
I wouldn't ever up there much. That's up near the church there in Colligan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can't kind of fish in those rivers now anymore. You know, because they all got wiped out with pollution and slurry and fertilisers and all the silage and all the stuff going into the river kills the fish.
Yeah.
I see fish up in the Finnisk River with a bright day or a big hole and you could see down to the bottom and there must have been 200 or 300 trout as big as that all dead on their side and into the river.
From pollution?
From pollution, yeah. Now that's what happened to all the rivers, like, you know. Wasn't the fishermen killed them at all.
No. And do you remember any big gatherings in the square? You know, like for example
we were there for the cyclings and that. And there'd be politicians used to come there in the olden times, you know. They were there past one time and we were all down Mary Street with little flags to wave when I didn't know where he was on his way to, yeah.
And do you remember seeing him?
I do, then he passed in the car, like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there used to be politicians used to stand up on the...
they would up on a lorry platform there, that's right, and give speeches there on that, you know, before elections.
Okay. And then, when you were older, when you started to have a drink, what pubs would you go into in Dungarvan?
I see so much drink with bakers and all that. I never forget drinking. My own family were alcoholics now. There were brothers, like I had 2 brothers and they were alcoholics. I never drank. I took my confirmation pledge and I still have it.
Right, so and
so I have my pioneer pin at home.
You took that very seriously then?
I did, yeah. I said I'd never drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I see all the trouble we had over it.
Okay.
See, in a bakehouse, and if you hadn't reliable men would be drinking. They'd
leave you while you were working, right?
Yeah, no, but they'd be late in the mornings coming and that kind of thing, you know. So drink is an awful mess up if you interfering with work and all. Yeah. And in a bakehouse you must have the men there because the early men goes in and they have the stuff ready for the other men to come in to work. So if they don't come in, the early men ends up doing the whole lot for nothing.
And what generally did you bake? What was the normal breads? What was
Only bread, brown bread and white bread. We'd bake a few batch of bricks or two in the week, and maybe a batch of seed loaves. That'd be the tea.
Dungarvan didn't have the blas, did it?
No, they never had blaze in Dungarvan,
That's
no.
funny now that it never came from Waterford.
No, that's right.
It's funny.
Cappoquin have them now, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there any other traditional, anything that was very much about Dungarvan in the breads right now?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
And did you move around to any of the other bakers?
I worked in all the bakeries, like,
Did
you
you?
know, I did. Before
And was there
I
much
got
of a difference
constant.
between the bakers?
Well, some of me big bakeries, and some would be the old type ones, you know, the peel ovens and that, like, old coke and everything. But there was an old man, Matty Duggan was telling me, and he, young fella, he worked up there now where the Capital Cleaners are. There was a little bakery there. And out in the back, he said, the bakery is saying they keep a few pigs for the waste bread that wouldn't sell. They'd fatten the pig with it and they get back some few shillings. And Matty was only a young fella. He was going with his father, and he only 12 years of age, and he'd stand up in a box to bring him up to the height of the table for working at the thing. And the sun would be shining for summer in the morning, he said, and them pigs would be snoring. He said, and I used to say, I'd love to be ye. And then had to go out there in that back about 10 years ago, and Marie asked me to do something out in the back, and I went out, and here is that little pig style. It's still there. It's still there in the back of the thing, and the old door of the oven is there.
Wow.
Yeah, and I could go and think of all the things like that he was telling me about, you know. But you say to the pigs, I'd love to be you. You wouldn't love to be. I want to be a bit fatter. They'd be getting killed.
That's gas.
Yeah.
And come here, I know you obviously didn't have much, you know, like
No,
stuff,
I had
right?
not. Little or nothing.
When you were small, but
Yeah.
was there any shops that you remember in Dungarvan when you were small?
Yeah.
Like what? Tell us what.
Well, but any little ties or sweets and all that, we used to go to Maggie Dawson's up in Mary Street. It was a popular little place, you know. And that. But the only
Lily
other...
Buckley's in up
Oh,
in Fair Lane.
that's right, up in that end of the
Did the
town.
bombs.
Yeah. They all had our own little places to go, you know.
Yeah.
All the thing, yeah.
And sorry, just where we have you, about you said you never went to the dances or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And then did you
We didn't have any social life at all. I was never on holidays even.
Go ahead.
No, and I
Never?
could go. I wouldn't go, I wouldn't bother go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were a hard working man then?
Oh God, I done a lot of work all the time, yeah. All the time, sweating like in the heat and everything, you know. Now I can't sleep in the night or anything because they're always working in the night.
So your clock is all strange
They're
now.
gone, yeah,
Mhm.
everything. Yeah.
And would you ever, I mean, would you see yourself then as a master baker then?
No. I see myself as a good baker. I could do any kind of
Okay.
work job in it. I get a job in any because I was in Yard and all. They'd be looking for me. They said, if you want a job, we'll make a job for you. Come over and all that, you know. They'd be.
And
Once you be a reliable man and prepared to do any part of the work,
Yes.
you know.
And do you remember any of the other old bakers before your time now?
Yeah,
Say the fellas that you learned from.
yeah.
Can you tell us some of those names?
Oh God, I could. Martin Whelan was one. There were a lot of the Duggans, Matty Duggan and Jimmy Maher and Paddy Gorman and David Condon, Eddie Gibbons. And there was a good few of the Kileys there, Betty Kiley and them they went to sea and that after the sons like. Now there's no baker in Dungarvan.
And come here, and when the men were baking, were they quiet or would they be talking or would they
Oh,
be...
they'd be talking away like, you know.
Okay.
We'd make the tea 4 or 5 times during the night, you know.
Well, it'd be hot work, wouldn't it?
Oh God, it'd be hot work, yeah.
You'd have to
To
drink
heat,
a lot.
like, yeah. You drink a lot. We were in England, even they'd make big buckets of tea, and it'd be a bucket of tea made the whole time. We had them enamel mugs, like, and you could get a mug of tea anytime you wanted.
Did you stay in England?
In England, yeah.
All right. Did you work in England?
I did.
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Where did you work? Where did you work?
I was working in a bakehouse up in Edgware, out in Middlesex,
Oh, okay.
there for a couple of years, you know.
What year was
Harder work now there, to be harder work there than in Ireland, because the production would be bigger, like.
that? Big quantities.
Yeah, you know, more, an awful amount of bread. And it would be 12 hours for Friday night. Well, 12 hours in the bakehouse is an awful hard thing.
Yes.
And then you have low ovens, you have double-decker ovens, and when you're stripping them ovens, your feet are in under them, like, and the sweat will be running down into your shoes out of it. It was my terrible hard work in England.
And what year was that?
Be back in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, the 60s, yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, well, we'll go over to you there.
Walter.
Just from point of view, let's start off first with your family.
Well, my mother's name is Nell Tutty. My father is Tommy Wright. My father walked down with the coal, delivering the coal for Williams's around the town.
And your mother's name, what was her name?
Nell Tutty.
Oh, Tutty, okay.
Yeah.
And what was her people, what did they do?
Her father was my grandfather. He was a cobbler.
All right.
What's the name of that road there around the corner from Dolan's?
Up there, Sammy's Lane we used to call
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
The shop is there. There's a little cobbler's next door to where that one was now.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
There's a Waterford city bloke, he's in there.
Yeah, he cuts keys.
Yeah.
And the coal delivery is tough work.
Horse and car.
Okay.
Mick Hughes was the manager down there in Williams's that time.
They had a bakery as well.
But that was tough work.
Oh, well, but they'd be used to it, you know.
Yeah.
Bring the horse out and look. As long as you looked after the horse, that was the main thing.
Yeah.
And
Any kind
where
of
did they keep the horse?
I don't know where they kept it. They must have some place.
Yeah.
Okay. And tell me then, what was your early memories of running around Dungarvan when you were small?
Well, I can remember back. I was born in the county home out in the hospital abroad when my father and mother came back from England. That was 1946. And I can remember when we went to Calbrew, that's up above, just up above the hospital. I can remember being inside in the little teachers. And I was young, I was only about 2 or 3 that time, if I was that. They'd do some damage, I suppose, around the house. And do open fires were there that time.
And that's where they put you to keep it safe.
Keep me out of the way, I suppose.
Running around, that's right. But the little boxes were then for the children, the timber box.
Exactly.
You know.
You remember that?
Oh, I do, yeah. Good times.
And
The-
did you have many brothers and sisters?
I've had 3 brothers.
Okay.
The youngest one now, Jimmy, he died there 2 years ago. He was only 60 something.
Okay.
And then I have George and Thomas. They live over there beside at the moment.
And what was your? Do you remember going down into Dungarvan when you were small?
Yeah, I do,
Into
yeah.
the square.
I do, yeah.
What kind of shops would you remember?
Well, all the old shops are there now, most of them are still there. You know what I mean? There's only a bit of moderation done or something. Peter Quailey's, that's still done up now. That was an old pub there. But it's still a pub.
And what was the?
And then I was down when the fair used to come in. I used to be minding the cattle there, the fair day. And the farmer, when he's going to pay you, Jackie O'Donnell, I hope you hear me. You'd have to put out your hand like that from the. My father told me he asked for half a crown. He'd put it into your hand.
Yeah.
Make sure you take it. he didn't want you to take it off of him. But anyway, then you get when you bring in the cattle, any cattle that wasn't sold around there used to be a place up in Mary Street, a pub, still there, the pub. What was the name of that pub? I forget the name
I
of it.
don't know which one.
It's on the right hand side going up before you come to John Kane's. Friday days.
Yeah,
There was a big yard there within the cattle that wasn't sold.
They'd put horses in there on
Yeah.
Saturday when they'd be in shopping as well, you know.
All right.
And I get a large bottle
Yeah.
off of the farm with my couple of bob. And I go up home and I be staggering going up after the bottle, going through the ball alley, going into Calbrew. And I getting sick as a dog on the way up.
And what age would you be now with your?
I was only about 10 or 11 then.
And you had to drink a large bottle.
Yeah.
I was young, I was. Well, I suppose it made me sick anyhow after I taken it. Then I got a job out in I was walking down muddy biles, or muggy biles, is a paper shop, delivering papers. That's still there. Whelan has it now in Main Street. Then I worked for Flings in the Square, delivering papers. Then we had a job out in the...
And just with the papers, were they the same newspapers that they are now, the Observer and all that?
Oh no, yeah, the Observer and the Dungarvan. I used to go down to the letter factory then with the Dungarvan leader, and I'd sit in. Dungarvan leader, read all about it, man drowned in the hay barn, and I'd sell more then.
And do you remember going into the leather factory at that stage?
I didn't go in though, you had to stand outside.
And be a strong smell out of the place.
Oh Jesus, it'd kill you. You wouldn't worry about it that time. Yeah.
There were a lot of hard work done down there for little or not, wouldn't they? They were wheelchairs.
And then after you sold
When I
the
left,
newspaper,
when I went out to O'Donnell's out in the Yard Road there, delivering the milk for them, Jackie O'Donnell, most of them were there. Well, they're all dead now. Then from all the dairy went, all the crowd, the farmers, they all went in together because that time the milk that you know what I mean? It wasn't, you couldn't sell no more loose milk. They bottled the milk then. The place we went out to the dairies.
Dairies bought them out.
Yeah, and all the Tommy Corden and them O'Donnells and Beresford was the only one that wouldn't go in with the crowd.
Yeah.
He kept selling the loose milk, but they stopped him after a while because it was supposed to be camelate or tamelate or whatever you call it. So I worked out in the dairies then until 1963. Then I went to England then I was 16. I stayed over in England then for 36 years and I decided to come back here and settle here.
you were 16 you went to England.
Yeah, I went over to see what it was like.
How did you get over?
In a boat, a train and a boat.
The boat from where? From Rosslare?
From Rosslare to Fishguard.
Fishguard, okay. And then you arrived in London, was it?
Yeah, in Paddington.
And did you know anyone?
No, well, there were a few of us together, kind of. I went down to Labber Grove's name of place, and I see all the black men there, dustbins and everything thrown all over the place. If I had the fear, I'd have come back again.
And what was your first job in London?
I was Mickey Hurley's wife, and she got me a job in the cinema, showing people that are seat and that. Come round, I was able. I could have been an actor myself for all the films I see, John Wayne and all them, Brian Rogers and all them, showing people that are seat and all that. Then Mickey Hurley got me. He's from Dungarvan. He was from Dungarvan. He got me a job in the buildings. And the jackhammer I had was nearly as big as myself. I started off in there, and then I went from one building to the other, steel fixing and you name it.
And that was in the 60s, was it?
1963.
No. Right up to
1999.
And was it difficult coming back after that time?
No, but I drank heavy in my time. But then I gave it up for about 20 years. And when you give up the drink, the kind of crack is not the same. It wasn't for me anyhow. So I decided to come home. I came home here then. A cousin of mine, she put me up for a couple of weeks, some months. Then I got a council house after a while. Not a council house, I got a flat, and then I got another flat. And in the end, I had my name down for the council house. I got a council house then, where I am now. Till I'm happy.
Yeah. And then, were you glad you came back?
Oh, I was, yeah.
And come here, do you know when you came back, were you able to make friends with people that you hadn't seen for a long time?
I had more friends when I came back than I ever had in my life.
Great.
Until they get to know you, and then that was it.
Until they got some sense. And
they'll be all about you when you come home for a holiday and all that. Well, when they think you're going to stay, a lot of them don't want to know. You might take their job or something like that. Well, that's the truth.
And was that the first time you were back in a long time? Or?
Oh no, I came back a couple of times for the holiday.
Okay.
I came back first when my mother died. Not my mother, my father died. My mother died when I was only 15. She hit her head off of the box. We used to have a little box next to the bed. The clock used to be on it. She got up out of bed and she got some kind of a reeling in her head and she fell and she hit her head off the box. And she was unconscious, and Georgie, my brother, went to the doctor, Dr. O'Connell, I think was there that time. He came up, he had one look at her and he said, I think you better call the priest, he says. Then she was out in the hospital for a while and unconscious, and she died then. And that time, that nearly blew, nearly all that. You see, when your parents go, kind of the family kind of is split up, and I decided then I go to England.
And did any of your brothers follow you over to England then?
They did, yeah. One of them was already over here, over in England. Georgie, the second oldest brother. And then Jimmy, the youngest brother on the messing, he came over after.
And did you like it in England?
Oh yes, I loved it. It was a living wonder.
And did you hang around with fellas mostly from Ireland, or would you?
Oh, nationalities.
Okay.
Well, in Kilburn where I was, it was mostly Irish was there anyhow.
But they from all over Ireland?
Oh no, different parts, yeah. Go up to the dancing there and the bamba and the Keltney Moor up in Crickwood and down to the Blarney and a lot of this, all Irish music and all that, have the crack and into the pubs making it easy yourself, and that was the crack that time. You're a woman if you could get one, if she'd have you. What more did you want?
And did you end up getting married or?
Not really, no. But I was living with one for a long time.
Okay. And so to go right back to when you were small in Dungarvan, I mean, the other way sometimes when you leave a place, your memory is very clear before you left.
Oh yeah.
What it was like. So what can you remember about Dungarvan when you were like 15, 16? What kind of places are? What sticks in your head?
Well, there was plenty of entertainment then. I used to go down to the town hall dancing there and have down swimming. I got drowned and nearly I couldn't swim after I down the swimming pool. Some Egypt shoved me in to the deep end and I went down 3 or 4 times. I didn't try to swim after that. That's a long time ago now.
And were you involved in any of the sports around?
Well, I played a bit of hurling up in the Christian Brothers. I wasn't much good at it. Then the old handball, we had the handball alley up in the top of Carlbrew there.
And would fellas play for money?
Oh, they would, yeah. But I wasn't much good at the old handball anyway, but there was some good handball. Like John Kyle, he was a great hurler as well for Waterford. And a lot more. And
then, what about cards? Did you play cards as kids?
I didn't, but my uncle and them, they played up in the pitch and tossing the halfpennies and that.
And that was gambling money?
Oh, small money, but still it was big money at that time. Be fighting over money and cheating.
Here's the cards.
Yeah, they're all grabbed for the money.
There was an out for fishing for mackerel over in Helvig one time, and the price of the mackerel went down to not like £2 a box, and they said over they wouldn't go out for it. But Johnny Boss was there, and he said, I'm going out, he said, because £2 is a lot of pounds when you have no pounds. And he went out, which he was right, like. The rest of them had the money, they needn't go out and fishing for that. Yeah.
Okay, well that's brilliant.
Yeah, like I say, by coming up to this place here, they're very good in this.
This is a great thing.
Passes away the time you get your dinner and.
That's right, yeah.
And
the women are very nice, the staff and all are nice. Yeah. And we have outings and you dancing and make a fool of yourself out on the floor there if you want to.
That's right, yeah. He's a great dancer, but he won't go out. All the women are after him here. So.
Do any of you sing a song around?
Oh, he's a good singer, but it's very hard to get him to sing.
What kind of songs do you sing?
Rebel songs.
Yeah. Rebel songs?
Yeah, rebel songs. I'd be trying to get him to sing one in Paul Oates, an Old Man River or something.
Oh, right. And he plays hard to get.
You know, God, he wouldn't say I couldn't get him to sing. Yeah.
Well, now then, thanks for the interview. No,
Yeah.
Thanks very much,
Thank you,
lads.
yeah.
I really appreciate that. That was great. It was great to get an insight into